Sean Cronin, congratulations. The latest Leinster player to be put on the OLSC Supporters Club wall. Getting a bit of support there behind you as well. The latest legend on the OLSC wall, and I believe this brilliant piece of artwork was presented this morning in the team meeting.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise first thing up in the team meeting this morning. So yeah, I look really chuffed, and just to thank everyone in the OLSC and Laura as well, who had been on to me. You know, big honour for me. Some prestigious players have been added in the last few years. So yeah, really chuffed, and you know, thanks a million for the support and putting me in there.
It really captures the essence of you, Sean, even the headband.
Yeah, a couple of guys were saying it looks a bit like Marcel could see it from Ulster, but I'll take it. You know, I look well, and like I said, delighted, and you know, put it up in the wall at home.
Obviously, supporters, we miss them so much in the RDS and even away from home, and with news this week of a potential pilot in the RDS, we'd love nothing more than to have the supporters back in the RDS.
Yeah, 100%. I think you know, it's been tough for everybody. You know, inside the building, outside the building. We just want to see supporters back so much. We missed them massively. So, like you said there, with that pilot scheme, hopefully we'll go through, and we'll be successful, and we'll get numbers back, and then in time we'll be able to get a packed RDS back. And I think every one of the guys inside wants to see that happen.
And finally, Sean, obviously any legend that gets inducted by the OLSC has an evening with the OLSC, and I'm sure you'd love to spend an evening in their company and take a few questions from those supporters.
Yeah, I think it's been it's in the woodwork anyway. Sometime in the future, probably be on Zoom or something like that. So really look forward to chatting to some people and give them the lowdown on a few of the guys in here.
Sean Cronin, thanks very much for joining us, join the OLSC for what is a different kind of Q&A, because this is actually your Leinster Legends T-Shirt presentation. Congratulations, first off. How do you feel?
Chuffed now. You know, I'm really delighted to be joining some amazing names of guys that you've inducted in the last number of years. So it's brilliant. I think it's such a great idea, run by the Supporters Club, and yeah, look, I'm delighted and honoured as well, and strange times we're living in at the moment, but yeah, like I said, I'm really chuffed.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, you know, as you're well aware, you know, we would normally have you over in the OLSC in the line out for this, but it is strange times. However, we are still, you know, the supporters do still want to recognise the player, and we're delighted that you are number 22 in the Leinster Legends, and obviously we will still be doing our T-shirt launch, and it is to raise funds for our charity partner this year, who are the Gavin Glynn Foundation. So it is a little different in terms of this, but everything else, thankfully, is still, you know, going to be going ahead behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's amazing, you know, and such a great initiative in terms of, you know, the T-shirts getting made up and we contributing to the charity is amazing. So hopefully we can sell a few and make a decent contribution.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, I mean, obviously the presentation is normally in the line out. It was done a little differently this year, and it was done during a training session. How was that? Because I'm sure as much as Marcus, you know, maybe tried to do it quietly, were there many of the lads there? How did that go down?
It was actually we had our it was a couple of weeks ago. It was our first meeting of the week anyway, I think, and I didn't see Leo. Sometimes, you know, in the last couple of months, we've had guys getting there because first caps as well, or you know, you can't have the presentations now like we used to have in the past. So he was making a bit of a quick speech, and then he got on to what it was for. So I knew it was coming up, and he had the big kind of plaque poster thing, and but yeah, I was totally caught off guard, and everyone was there, so it was good. It was really nice. It was a nice touch to get presented in front of all the guys, and of course they went pretty mad with the clapping and stuff, you know. So it was a real nice touch, and I enjoyed it.
I know, really good. And it was nice, for Leinster to do it. But obviously, once we do have a return to the RDS, we will obviously be inviting you over, to the line-out, because I know that all the fans would actually like, to be there in person to actually appreciate you. So would you be able, to join us in the line-out, at a near time in the future?
Of course, I'd love to. I'd be pretty good mates with Fergus McFadden, and he said he had an amazing evening there when he got presented with his one. So the first chance we get, hopefully in the not too distant future, it'd be amazing to pop across, meet some of the fans in the club, and just say hello to people and say thank you as well.
Excellent, lovely stuff. We might just touch on your rugby journey then, Sean, if you don't mind, because you initially started off with Munster. You had 3 seasons there. Then you went to Connacht. And then in the 2011-2012 season, you initially signed a 2-year contract to move up to Leinster. And 10 years later, you're still here. So how did you find the journey? I mean, what was it a journey you were looking to take, or did it just kind of happen as such?
No, I think it kind of just evolved, really. I suppose I came out of playing schools rugby, and I was into the Munster Academy as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. And I suppose the way just the things evolved at the time was that, limited opportunities in Munster. And I had worked with Michael Bradley then on an A tour when I was still in the academy down there. And I think he liked what he saw, and just in terms of pure game player development in my eyes. And he said, look, would you be interested in a move to Connacht in order to get some game time and exposure? And it was a very tough decision at the time. I'm not going to lie, to leave home, leave my family and friends and the club I'd been playing with to take a chance. But I saw it as a great opportunity as well to try and make the jump and play some professional rugby at a high level. So very tough decision, but one that I definitely look at as a big contributing factor to me developing as a player, moving up there.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it now, Sean, and you've actually just recently signed a 2-year contract extension in, just back in March, but in the 10 years to date, 194 caps and 210 points. It's quite an achievement, I mean, it must be personally proud for you as well to have numbers like that associated.
Yeah, look, it's amazing, I suppose, when you say it like that, like 100, nearly creeping up towards 200 caps for Leinster, which is amazing. I suppose it's coming up on 10 years to get to that number. And I think it's 40 something tries. I'm not too sure, but I think it's nice to be creeping up that table as well in such esteemed company. I think Dave Carney's scoring tries for fun at the moment. He's overtaken a good few of us, but I just it's been amazing the 10 years that I've been up here. I've been lucky to be involved in some amazing squads with some amazing players, and just trying to contribute, I suppose, the best I can whenever I take the field.
You did actually mention there just about a couple of amazing squads and amazing teams as well. Is there any one particular highlight which actually stands out in your Leinster rugby career to date? Is it?
I'd say I'd have to probably go with the 2018 season, I suppose, when we won the European Cup and the Pro 14. It's hard to top that. That was an amazing year. I suppose it was kind of the squad as well. You had a lot of new guys that had come into the squad. We'll call them the younger generation. They're not so young now. They're well established, like, James Ryan and Dan Levy and all these kind of guys that came in, Andrew Porter and so on and so on. So it was a real fun group to be involved with, because you had a mix of the older guys and the younger guys coming through, and it clicked really well that year. And everything, went right for us, I suppose, in terms of performance on the field and off the field. And that year would be a really big highlight for me.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can actually see on your screen here, Sean, so we do actually have a screen of your T-shirt down there below, and it's what was actually presented to you as well. Was that a nickname that was given to you, or where did this come about?
I have a great...
And actually, sorry, this is actually a presentation that we've actually made to your children, and Claire has been with this. So this has actually gone to your kids here.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'd see there. I see her, she's enjoying wearing it anyway. I'm not too sure about the boys. But the nugget, actually, Leo Cullen, back in the 2011 World Cup in New Zealand, was the one who he I don't know what I did or what I said or whatever. He said, "Yeah, you're a real nugget," or something like that. And of course, something that I've learned as the years went on: if someone gives you a nickname and you don't like it, don't react to it, because usually they fade out. But if you give a bad reaction, or you let on that you don't like it, they tend to stick. So that one stuck, and I've been asked a good few times. So I credit that one down to my now director of rugby or head coach, Leo Cullen, for coming up with that one.
And is it something now that, you know, because it's kind of stuck with you and the fans have taken it so on board as well, is it something that, you know, running out onto the pitch and hearing somebody chanting that, and especially at Ireland games as well, you know, is it kind of a, wow, it's actually kind of stuck sort of thing? And is it kind of a pat on the back almost, because it is synonymous with Sean Cronin?
But it's definitely, anytime someone gives you a shout or a roar of encouragement with nugget in there, it's definitely one that there's not too many nuggets flying around the place. So I definitely know it's directed at me. So it's really, it's great. It's a nice little touch from any supporter that gives you a shout of encouragement. And when you hear the nickname, it's nice to know the fans are shouting you on in the background.
Absolutely, yeah. Any kind of, because the fans always look after this. So in terms of obviously away trips with Leinster Rugby and that, best and worst roommate, anyone out there who, if the name, like, does it work where players are allowed to pick their own roommates? Are you assigned them? And have you ever kind of looked at a roommate and went, oh no, not, you know?
Yeah. I actually saw that Ferg McFadden hung me out to dry recently on I think it's on the show he did when they were asking who his worst roommate was, and he said me, but I think I'd probably give it to Sean O'Brien, because me and Ferg actually roomed a lot together towards the end before he retired, and Shawnee as well. But Shawnee, you wouldn't know what kind of he could be jumping up and down on top of you on the bed when you're in the room, or he could be on his phone not talking to you. So it was a bit of a roller coaster when you were rooming with Shawnee, and he'd probably be the worst one, and then Ferg would be the best one.
Good stuff. And then, so obviously we've touched on the Leinster journey, but it's not just a Leinster journey as well, Sean. It's an Ireland journey, and to date, 72 appearances and 30 points. So how has it been then? You know, obviously a Leinster journey is an incredible one to have, but an Ireland journey then, and to pull on the jersey so many times for your national team, how did that journey come about for you? Yeah,
it was, I suppose, started back in the Declan Kidney era, where he kind of brought me in and around the squads, and continued on then when Joe took the reins as well. So a bit of a journey, like everything in life, has its ups and downs, and certainly the Irish career did. It had plenty of ups and downs, but I suppose it's a good way of developing, character and resilience in terms of a couple of times I was dropped out of squads, but I fought my way back in. But like I said, it was the same with Leinster. I was lucky to be part of so many amazing squads and achieve so much stuff as well in a green jersey. So something definitely I look back and on my career, and I'll be very, very proud of some of the achievements. Part of 6 nation winning teams, Grand Slam team, to be involved in that was amazing. So like I said, it's definitely something that I'll look back on with massive memories.
Absolutely. Yeah. You were talking there as well, Sean, just, kind of in terms of great squads and that for Leinster as well. And I know recently in one of the recent games, I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but the Leinster squad for this season has now touched on 58 players. So last season, there was 57 coming through, and this season it's 58. It must be, something else for a team to be able to have so many players, coming through to develop a squad. Are you kind of seen then as a senior, do you have some of the young guys coming to you and saying, look, Sean, how did you start off in your journey? Are you kind of seen as a mentor, or, you know, are you kind of just going about your day-to-day job as such?
I suppose a mentor, it's not really the role that I take up, I suppose, within the club. I'm more of a, I suppose, if whatever way I can help out in terms of, like, it's kind of a meeting of minds, really. You know, I suppose I was in the building today and me and Ronan Keller were talking about something in terms of defence off the line out, or stuff like that. Of course, if anyone ever came to me looking for help, I'd be more than happy to. Something I enjoy doing. But a lot of these guys that are coming through are you know, they're near ready to play, and that's the great thing about the way that the system up here is working. And but like I said, any way that I could help any player, whether they're young or old or the same age as myself, I'll always put myself out there to help them.
Yeah. And just actually, you were talking there as well, just about Ferg and Sean O'Brien. So obviously, you know, seeing you coming onto the pitch, taking the ball at pace, we all will admit, explosive pace there, Sean. So if you had to pick a foot race, have you ever done a foot race between yourself, Shawnee, and Ferg?
I reckon, I'm not too sure if we've actually ever done a foot race, but I definitely back myself over 10 meters against Ferg and Sean anyway. After that, all bets are off.
It depends. You know? It depends on what happens. It depends on how close the line is then, really,
exactly.
Is
it? Exactly. Shorter distances, you know.
We saw there recently. We saw there just the one of the presentations that the OLSC have made to your children there. So to the boys, to Finn and to Killian and to Saoirse, Dave is just going to put it up here again. So this is just a small presentation, because Claire was actually involved in this as well. So we actually, normally we would present it in the line out, but we actually had this sent out in advance.
Yeah, it's incredible. I suppose it really hits home when you see them with the kids having it on. It's such a nice touch, you know. Even like I said, I'm bringing it up again now. Ferg and his kids and his young guy Freddie wearing the T-shirt. So it's such a nice touch, and something that any player that's lucky enough to have the chance to get that done, something we really appreciate.
Well, just actually touch on that. We've actually had hoodies made up as well, and we've sent them into Marcus. So Marcus will actually be presenting those to you hopefully in the next day or two. So we've hoodies made up for the kids then as well. We might just touch on it briefly, if you don't mind. And I suppose it's maybe just when parenting goes wrong. I don't know how many people have seen the video on Instagram of I think it was Sea Point Beach.
Yeah.
How are you managing, obviously, family life around COVID and rugby? You know, given it's so much more difficult in terms of bubbles and protocols and that. How are you finding it?
At the start, it was, as you can imagine, it was quite tough. I suppose being like you said, it's tough when you're not meeting people, and the kids are, you know, they're not meeting people, kids their own age or their grandparents and so on. But I think, you know, my wife Claire has been absolutely amazing. She's working from home as well, and you know, she takes up a lot of the slack at home as well in terms of the rugby whenever I'm away. So she's been amazing, and we have a great support base with whenever our grandparents can help out or whatever like that. So it's been tough, and it's like everyone else. People have had to find their own way to deal with it. It's been tough for everyone, but I think there's a bit of, you know, ray of light now in the future, and hopefully things can get back to normal as soon as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. And did the boys, you know, because the boys are obviously slightly older, they'd be 5 this year. Did the boys have much of an interest in sport? Because, you know, given you're obviously a rugby player, but you are a passionate GAA man as well, and obviously you did previously play GAA before rugby. So is there a bit of conflict there between the family, or, you know, have they kind of put their hand up for one sport in particular?
No, well, we're trying to find the happy balance, I suppose. We had them out. They actually went to their first rugby sessions the last couple of weekends in a row. The two boys did. Yeah, the interest is, you know, after 20 minutes starts to wane a small bit. But and then my wife is obviously from a big hurling and camogie background as well, so we're trying to get them into that. You know, I don't know if we're going to get them into the clubs that I wanted to play with. You know, we're going to be what she wants. So, but it's great. I'm just happy to want to get them involved in some sort of sport. activity. Like you said, I had a big interest in playing GAA when I was younger, and rugby. I think it's a fantastic way just to meet people, develop personal skills, and be involved in a team aspect as well. It's really good for kids.
Yeah, because we were chatting to Caelan Doris last week, and then we spoke with Lindsay Peat then earlier in the season as well, and both of them were obviously actively involved with so many other sports, but both of them have said, and Lindsay's obviously said it in the book she was involved in too, that it's good for kids to have as many sports as they can at a young age. And Caelan actually said that last week as well, is that kids, if they can, should have as many sports really, and then only kind of focus on one, after they make up their mind really. Is it the same for you, like in terms of if they want to play any sport under the sun, off they go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's very important to let them find their own path in terms of what to do. And look, if the two boys are serious, if they don't want to play sport, if they're into music or academically, that's what they're big interest in, then I'll be supportive in whatever they want to do. But like Lindsay and Caelan both said, it's such a good thing to have in your life is to be involved in team sport. And then even like as you can see, I think the cross coding between, if you look at Tyke Furlong plays lots of GAA, and it's really good for your game, your eye coordination, and I think it's just a big advantage having experienced a wide range of sports.
Yeah, I mean, like, I suppose just as you were saying there, even about GAA, I think, synonymous one with Leinster was probably Shane Horgan scoring in the Ireland-England game all those years ago, and it was a complete GAA take, and everyone's kind of going, where did that come from,
Yeah, you could have been playing midfield in Croke Park there with that catch, so that's a good example.
Would you put a hurl in his hand then if he put on a Limerick jersey?
I don't know now. With the Mead wouldn't be a stronghold of hurling now, So we'd have to see how he swings it, before we make any drastic decisions.
What do you reckon then on Limerick's chances then again? After the success, because I really think it was something that, okay, look, I'm a dub, but it certainly brought out kind of a new interest in hurling to see another team step up and go and take the All Ireland. So, I mean, again, it seems to be a good young squad coming through there for Limerick as well. So would you have, hopes of future success there for Limerick to claim another Liam McCarthy?
Yeah, I think, like you said, their age profile is perfect. They got so many exciting young guys coming through, and even guys now that are still young but well established. So great coach and John Kiley there as well. And yeah, look, they'll be thereabouts. But it's like any winning team, they'll have a target on their back now this year. And there's another few teams in the mix there which would like to take a scalp and go on and win it themselves.
Absolutely, yeah. We might just touch on one or two more questions there, Sean, before you let you go. I suppose it's an obvious one, but it does have to be asked. Are you looking forward to a return to the RDS when there can actually be punters there shouting, "Go on, Nugget"? Because I imagine if there's 2,000 people, or whatever it is, you'll probably pick out a voice and go, "Is that my next door neighbour shouting at me?"
Yeah, look, I think everyone now within the organisation is just absolutely, mad keen to get supporters back. It's been such a strange, I suppose it's been a year now since we've been back playing, or coming up to a year. So, it's very, very strange not having supporters there. And I think guys are just looking forward to that. So much atmosphere at the games and a packed RDS, and just getting back to those days again. I could say for all the players that we're just can't wait to experience that again and give the supporters something to cheer about.
Great. Well, look, Sean, we just want to say thanks very much for taking the time. It is obviously a little different to how we normally do it, but best of luck for the rest of the games and the rest of the season. And as soon as we're all allowed in the line out, you're the first person to cross the door, because I know all the fans would just, want to take their time and appreciate you in person. So if that's okay with you, as soon as we're back there, you're going to be the first one to join us.
Definitely. Can't wait for that.
Grant. Well, listen, Sean Cronin, thanks very much for taking the time to chat to us, and congratulations again on being number 22. Has a nice ring to it.
It does. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Sean. Thanks.